folks, it's Zion Hezekiah here, your boy Hez. We're recording on Tuesday, December 17th, 2020. This is our Jose Calderon episode. That is episode number 8 of season 3, and you're tuned into Toronto Talk Sports and more. So yeah, shout out to former Toronto Raptor guard, number 8, Jose Manuel Calderon. All right, very pleased to be joined here by my dear co-host, Abriella, Sammy.
Hi, what's up, guys?
Yes, we have my main man, me, Wallace-Bruce.
Hey, Happy New Year, TTS listeners.
Yes, and to my right, last but not least, our associate producer, Janelle Estaa.
What is up, everybody?
This is, guys, our very first full video podcast. What? This is something that we've been, working towards ever since we launched back in April of 2018, so almost 2 years. That was always the goal, to go full video. Obviously, we've done a lot of video content on the show, little features and some segments here and there. But moving forward, this is what our audience can expect. Our show will be featured on YouTube weekly, so full video. So for those who don't normally watch us, maybe you're tuning in for the first time, usually in our opening segment, our intro segment, we have a fun, kind of engaging, interactive topic, usually not related to sports, just to kind of kick things off and set the tone for the show. Once again, Toronto Talk Sports and more. So this is where the and more part kicks in a little bit here. We're going to be talking today about... Actually, we got a hot topic too. It's a little steamy. It's real steamy. So here's what's on tap. This is the topic. Having sex, S-E-X, on the very first date. Is it a good idea or a bad idea? And specifically, is it a good idea to have sex on a first date with somebody that you potentially see a future with? So somebody that you potentially could see yourself with long term. We're talking love and marriage. They just have that vibe that, it's more than just, a fling or whatever it is, that you could literally potentially see yourself with this person long term. Is it a good idea to engage in sexual relations on a first date? So before we chime in, I'm just going to read a little excerpt here from an article from cosmopolitan.com. It says this: even though society has come a long way from patching on an A on our dresses, you shouldn't be super hard on yourself for internalizing certain sex-shaming ideals. People want to avoid the judgment and shame associated with having sex outside of what is acceptable, explains Shannon Chavez, a psychologist and certified sex therapist. So if you're wondering whether you should have sex on the first date, I'm going to stop you right there, she says, and remind you that you should only ever do what feels good to you. So I couldn't agree with that at all. I couldn't disagree more. But we'll get to my point in a second. Wow. Abriella, I'm going to kick it to you first. What are your thoughts?
I have to go first on this.
You're first up.
Dang it.
So once again, we're talking sex on the first date. And what's interesting? Let me actually go here. Let me say this first. Initially, when kind of, brainstorming different topics and putting this together, I was actually thinking of, is it acceptable or is it okay to kiss on the first date? But then I was like, that's so antiquated. That's a question that you probably would have asked like 20 years ago. So it's very interesting to see where we are in society right now. And it's even more interesting to think that perhaps 20 years from now, what we'll be asking, in this life. But Abriella, I'll kick it to you. First date, once again, somebody that you could potentially see, a future with, engaging in sexual relations. What do you say?
I find it kind of hard to answer this question because kind of in line with what you just read us, I think it really depends on the situation, like the energy, the feeling, what's going on, how you connect with that person. My biggest rule for myself is there's no rules, there's no right or wrong. I think it's a situational type thing.
Go with the flow.
Yeah. So I think if you go into it being absolutely not, I don't know.
Because some women actually do this. Some women have a 3-date rule, a 5-date rule.
I think you have to read the situation.
Okay, so no rules. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not really an advocate for doing that, but it's hard to put like absolutes on things that
Well,
are like,
it's not as hard as you may think, but
maybe I don't agree with putting
no,
absolutes on things.
and that's fine. Me, let's get a male perspective.
Yeah, I echo Abriella's sentiments there.
Sure.
I think it is case by case, so it comes down to the feeling of the two parties at the time.
Mhm.
If it feels right, why not? And
Right.
I know some people are a bit more reserved in that respect,
Sure.
and they want to wait. That's fine too. But as long as you have that mutual understanding, it's fine.
As long as you're two consenting adults.
Right. That's first and foremost.
But do you potentially see a downside? So once again, we're talking about a potential long-term relationship and engaging in that heightened level of intimacy the very first time that you're meeting that person. Could that have negative effects on the relationship if it is indeed going to be a long-term relationship?
Potentially, but for me, it comes down to communication.
Okay.
If you have that right vibe between the two of you, and you want that, you're both looking for that long-term relationship, and you're sincere about it, I think it's fine.
Okay. Janelle.
Well, I feel in any first date, you have to kind of tell yourself and give yourself kind of setting yourself up and what's your intentions with this person. So it's like, okay, do I see that future with them? Like, should I hold
So
myself
you have
off,
some kind of
or-
a plan in your mind
Yeah,
as far as
but-
what your intentions are.
Yes, exactly. So, or else you're going to be set up for disappointment at the end of the day. But it also depends on the chemistry between the both of you. So it's like, yeah, you could hold yourself off, but once you see each other, it's like, bang. You know what I'm saying?
Literally,
yeah,
apparently,
legit.
apparently.
So then, like, everyone's grown, so they can make their own decisions. So that's kind of my feel. I understand being traditional and reserved, but
Sure.
it's either you got needs or you have
Oh, mama.
or you're just like very interested in the person. And the downside, like what you're saying,
Right.
it could be you lose that connection possibly after who knows what happens, or even a friendship, or even that acquaintance, or even you guys just stop talking. So there is that balance. So you have to kind of
Right.
tell yourself, okay, this is what I want with this person.
That's right.
So for me, I'm definitely I'm old school, and
Yeah.
not only that, I'm very conservative leaning. Obviously, you guys know that about me. So I'm from the school where you shouldn't even engage in sexual relations before marriage, let alone having
Yeah.
sex on a
No,
first
there's
date.
some people like that too.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure. But here's the thing, and this is where I kind of want to go with this. What about the whole aspect, the whole concept of having an emotional connection with somebody before bearing yourself to them? So it's not just only based on the physicals. When we talk about the act of copulating, sexual relations, making love, it's a heightened, not just a physical experience, it's an emotional experience. One could even perhaps say it's a somewhat of a spiritual experience, two becoming one. So the whole concept of sharing that heightened level of intimacy, which is more than just a physical experience, with somebody that you're just meeting for the very first time. I mean, just for me, once again, this is my perspective on it. And I'm not saying that I've never done it before, but I'm just saying, obviously, that's my thought process and my views on it. It's just being that intimate with somebody and that you hardly know. And then back to what I asked Uni as far as the potential ramifications of, for the course of the relationship. Let's be honest. Can we keep it real for a second? As men, if we get the prize, let's just call it the prize, the very first time that you meet this beautiful young lady, can you honestly say that your level of respect, the way that you look at her, will not change? It will be exactly the same. Like, we have to, let's just keep it real. Like, what would you say to that as far as just the respect factor, looking at a woman? And once again, I'm talking about someone that you see a future with. Can you honestly have a heightened level of respect for somebody who, once again, just gives it up the very first day? I don't know.
Why not?
Wow.
Well, I
Why
guess it
not?
depends on the
Why not?
connection that you guys have, right?
Right. That's exactly it.
For me, I just don't see that. I look at, most men, once again, a woman, it's a prize. When we talk about, and we'll keep it, obviously this is a family-friendly PG show, we'll call it the cookie. When a man has that yearn, that desire to strive to get, the goods, the cookie, if you get it right away, like initially right off the bat, there's no challenge. There's no, you know what I mean?
So you don't want more cookies?
No appeal. Well, you probably do, but it's just the whole concept of, you know what I mean? that whole long term and building up and going back to what I said earlier, actually having an emotional and a more of a mental and even spiritual connection before engaging in that level of intimacy. But I mean, I know it's a different age now. We do live in a liberal society, and going back to what the author here said, do whatever feels good, which even from that standpoint I don't necessarily agree with, because I mean, I could have issues with my next door neighbor. Maybe it might feel good to slice his head off or whatever. Just because it feels good doesn't necessarily mean it's good to do. I'll give you the last word, Abriella.
I just have a question. Is first date, like, does that necessarily mean the first time you're meeting someone? Because I've gone on first dates with people that I've known for years. And so to your point of the emotional connection, we already built that a long time ago. I know who they are. I understand their energy. I like that. Right. And I know my intention and they know theirs. So when you put it that way, like, it's not like I'm just meeting someone 5 minutes in and then doing that, right? So I
guess it's a matter of maybe how long it's been built up. So you're talking about if you meet somebody for the very first time.
I wasn't when I first originally answered the question. First date for me could be someone I've known for a long time,
or even if you start like that long distance type relationship or whatnot. Like the first time you see them, it's tough. It's not like you get to see them often. So it's hard to define the first date too.
Yeah, so I think the situation really determines how it goes down.
Or every situation is different.
And everybody's different. And, we could definitely have different views on it. Guys, thanks for sharing. We could definitely go a lot longer. But time is definitely running out. Let's get to what's on today's show, guys. Once again, this is our very first full video show, Toronto Talk Sports and more. So here's what we have coming up. We have a featured interview with Jonathan Jones, cornerback of the New England Patriots. So very excited about that. For our NFL segment, we're going to be discussing the coming up NFL Championship Sunday games. So we got the AFC games, the NFC games. 4 teams remaining fighting to go to the Super Bowl. Should be very, very exciting. Definitely looking forward to that. I know Nee's excited as well.
Is he wearing? Oh
yeah. My man.
Are the Patriots there? Yes.
I don't believe so. I know
you did.
I know. Hey, it's okay. I do believe we went to the Super Bowl the last 3 years in a row. Oh, okay. So we decided to take a little break this year, be generous. It's kind of the year of giving and kind of allow the other teams an opportunity. So, but thanks for asking. I definitely appreciate it.
No worries.
Good looking out. After our football segment, we're actually going to be announcing a fun giveaway. We're going to be giving away a very, very great prize. So look forward to that. And then we're going to end the show as we normally do with our And More segment. So this is where we do an interview feature with the Toronto-based entrepreneur or artist or influencer of some type, somebody doing some great stuff in the six. So today we have certified esthetician and pain management specialist Natalie Satinsky is joining us on today's show. So very excited to have her on. So guys, let's get right to it. Once again, this is episode number 8 of season 3. And you are tuned into Toronto Talk Sports.
And more.
Thank you for watching. Please click the like button and leave us a comment with your feedback. And don't forget to subscribe with notifications to see more engaging and interactive content. Toronto Talk Sports and more. For the love of the six, let's connect.